Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about the new moon solar eclipse that is happening on Thursday, June 10th of 2021. And it's really exciting. There's lots of little messages that are here for us to help guide us and work with us and for us. It's actually really exciting. So the new moon energy is for new beginnings, right? It is going quiet and going into like a gestation period. It is the void. You can think of being in the mother's womb or a caterpillar being in a cocoon, right? It's that space between A and B, which is not always comfortable. And sometimes we just want to get where we want to go and that's it. But this is that journey towards what we're looking for and what we want to experience or know. So that's the new moon energy. All right, we have that every month. This month, the new moon is being accompanied by a solar eclipse. And solar eclipse can only happen during a new moon. And that will happen in Eastern Standard Time. And it will happen between 4:10 and 9:10 a.m. with the new moon apexing at 6:23 a.m. So right in the middle of that window. So really exciting. If you want to try to see it, wear eye protection, either Eclipse glasses or goggles or a solar filter. So that's how we're starting the morning on Thursday. So what does the solar eclipse mean for the new moon? It amplifies it, right? Because we're going into an even deeper darkness, into an even deeper shadow, and feeling cut off from the sun in that way can be a little disconcerting, right? It can have its effect on us, when we're like, this isn't normal. And when things aren't normal, it might play out in our mind a little differently, which brings me to where the new moon is. Okay, so the new moon is when the sun and the moon are conjunct. That means that they're right next to each other. And this new moon is in Gemini. Gemini is the archetype of communication and of thinking. It is in the element of air. So that's all about our internal thought process, the mind, and how we communicate is a big one for Gemini. Tend to be chatty, right? And when the sun and the moon are both in Gemini, you might think that there's a communication between our conscious and our subconscious. So it's almost like we're taking a look inside our subconscious, which we're not always conscious of, right? So if we get quiet and reflective and use this time to see what's really going on within us, how we think, how we feel, this is a great time to do that, right? So the archetype of Gemini, even if it's not your sun sign, you can have some degree of Gemini archetype in your personality or in the way you do things or see things. So just being open to that. But it's more about looking at your thought process, right? And how you communicate. So that's the focus for this new moon. Okay, so the planet that rules Gemini is Mercury, right? Mercury is the planet for communication. And Mercury currently is in retrograde. So what does that mean? Mercury goes around the sun faster than any other planet, at least any that we know of. And it goes so fast that about 4 times a year, it slows down its pace so that it appears to be going backwards. Okay. So that's the retrograde. And that affects us through communication, right? So talking to somebody and they may not understand what we're trying to say, and we can't convey what is inside of us to the person. When we write an email or setting up a contract, like any paperwork, same kind of thing, can be confusing. And electronics, right? Our phones, our laptops, our iPads, all of that can be affected by the Mercury in retrograde. So typically, people who understand about Mercury in retrograde will go into a little bit of a panic and like, oh no, this is happening again. I can't deal with it because it is a huge inconvenience. But if we look at Mercury in retrograde as an opportunity to review, right? Sometimes we move too fast and we might be impulsive in making decisions that might not be for our best interest, right? So this is a time to review, to look back and see what we want to course correct, right? Anything that we want to shift or like change our mind about things. All right, so that's our opportunity with the Mercury in retrograde during the new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. I hope that makes sense for you. If you'd like to learn more, you can always reach out to me. If you would like to book a reading for your natal chart, it is fascinating. It really gives so much information about you and how you relate to the world and just move around. It's really fascinating and exciting. It helps me with myself. I love checking in my natal chart to see why I'm responding or in relationship or into a circumstance. And there's a lot more of space for compassion when we have that understanding of our natal charts. I have mine, I have my husband's, my daughter, my grandchildren, and close friends that, we can even go through it and be like, oh, that's why. So that's the invitation if that's something that's calling to you. And I would love to work with you. Thank you so much.